So Restaurant365, we're an accounting and reporting platform currently being utilized by Taco Bell franchisees all over the US. Typically, when folks are looking at moving on to Restaurant365, it's to replace a legacy type system, something a little bit more generic like QuickBooks or Sage or Great Plains. Really looking at kind of some of those systems that are either a little bit antiquated, like I know Great Plains is going to be sunsetting, or when we're looking at some other systems like QuickBooks that are really great generic accounting tools. Restaurant 365 is restaurant specific. We're one centralized software, really try to reduce all of the different moving pieces of your tech stack, be able to give you better accuracy and faster access to your reporting. And as of today, we're in about 1,000 Taco Bell locations. So know that we already have all of these systems in place that we're using with some of your fellow franchisees. Restaurant 365 was founded in 2011. Our three founders are all still involved. Actually, Tony, who is currently our CEO, wrote the original code for the program. So now we have grown over 100, or excuse me, over 1,000 employees. I think we're almost at 1,100 employees around the globe. Primarily domestic, but we do have development teams that work in 4 different countries. We also are supporting over 60,000 restaurant locations. The most important part of Restaurant 365 is that we are made for restaurant owners, operators, franchisees, to be able to get the most out of it, just like all of you that are here. So we want to kind of start things off with a little bit of what we do. And this is where we are kind of the centralized hub for data. We're putting ourselves here as the kind of in between all of the different segments. And in that's where we have, starting with accounting tools. We also offer inventory tools. With the Taco Bell groups, we're only specifically looking at accounting tools just because of our partnership that we have with Yum Corporate as a reporting partner. And then also we do offer some additional tools as far as like task management, things like that, labor scheduling. And then we have a partnership with Alliance HCM for enterprise level payroll and reporting and core HR tools, all built into the platform. So the information that you need when you need it, and that's going to happen by putting Restaurant 365 front and center. And this is where we're going to be able to pull in your Taco Bell files, whether we're pulling them over from a system like Delegate or Sabretooth, if you have those in place right now, but then also being able to pull over information from Trax later on this year. And we're anticipating having that integration live sometime around Q3. We're currently working with Yum Corporate to get that developed. From there, that information is coming into Restaurant 365. We're bringing over sales tickets. We're bringing over labor punches if the punches are happening in the point of sale. We're mapping all of that data into Restaurant 365, and then we're automating the creation of your journal entries. So what this is doing is it's giving you daily journal entries that are coming into the system so that you can have on-demand financials, the ability to go ahead and run a P&L at any point in time throughout the course of the month to see where you're at right now instead of having to wait until the end of the month or end of the quarter to see your numbers. Additionally, we integrate in with vendors like McLean so that we can pull your orders in from the vendor. We can pull those invoices in. You can see line item detail that's going to be coming in, as well as setting up GL coding. So we're looking at the items that are coming in, mapping them again to your chart of accounts, and then automating those journal entries that are coming into the system as well. And then lastly, that's integrating in with your bank. So being able to connect to, I think, something like 1,200 different banks. We utilize Yodlee as our bank connection tool. So this way your bank login credentials aren't stored anywhere inside of Restaurant 365. We're just getting a token from that Yodlee connector so we can pull your data down, whether we pull that directly from your bank through that kind of online feed, or if you wanted to set up something like BAI files with your bank, we can pull that information down. So we're also looking at this for bank reconciliation purposes as well. So Restaurant 365 really positions itself as being that value player in your tech toolbox, where not only can we help you save time, but it's really more so gearing towards giving you better financial data, giving you faster access to information, faster reporting, making things that are friendly and mobile so that you can do things on the go. And all trying to do this without you having to expand your office team or your accounting team. Really looking at how can we help you get the most out of the software without having to add additional cost on as you continue to grow and build your business. So from our conversations that we've had with Taco Bell franchisees out in the community, we've seen some recurring challenges. First one being some financial blind spots. not really knowing about financial planning, where you're at, where you should anticipate your sales to be from a budgeting perspective, but also from reporting and being able to see your financials in a way that makes sense for you. Whether you're looking at things from a periodic calendar or a 12-month fiscal calendar, being able to really bring all of that information in and then being able to customize it so that you have information the way that you want to be able to see it, but also making sure that we can give you versions of the financial reports that you may need for some of those corporate level submissions as well. And then another one that's come up more and more is third-party partner management, being able to integrate in with all of the different third-party providers, looking at handling disputes that may be coming up for error charges, chargebacks, things like that. Anytime the third-party partner is trying to not pay you the full amount that they owe you, but then also looking at it from a reconciliation side of things. We know that we sold X amount of dollars to these third party partners. How much money are they putting into the bank? And then giving us better visibility into where that delta lies as far as what was paid for commission, for delivery charges, taxes, what taxes do I still owe? All of those separate pieces. Really taking all of that data from the third party partners, integrating that into Restaurant 365 to be able to now push that information in so you can see it on your financial reporting. So starting out with budgeting. Why should you build a budget? This was something we had a really great conversation in person about. Some people are huge fans of building out that budget, setting that roadmap for the year. Other people are more of a fan of kind of going off the cuff and not really, having that kind of a plan. We're huge on being able to build your budgets because it helps you set your goals and expectations for the year. And that also can help you see how you're tracking throughout the course of the year to help make sure that you're making the best possible business decisions. You can build a budget easily inside of Restaurant 365 from the drop-down menu. And then when we're looking at building out our budgets, we can set them up as far as, do I want to build a budget per location? Do I want to do this by period, by week, fiscal calendar, or operational calendar? As well as how we want to be building it in, what we want to name it, even for, kind of how we're getting these budgets started. As you import data into Restaurant 365, you can even build off of prior year budgets inside of the system. Or if you build one budget and you want to use that for all of your locations, we can copy that over from other locations as well. And inside of Restaurant 365, this is just a little snapshot of what the budgeting screen looks like. I mentioned that you can import in budgets. Some people prefer to work in a system like Excel for being able to work on those pieces. And that's where you can export this information, that template, out into Excel, be able to work on it, in the spreadsheet format, the way that you're used to it, and then import that information into Restaurant 365 so that we can use the budgets inside of the system as well as for all of the reporting. And when you want to be able to review those budgets, we have a bunch of different reports that are really budget specific. We have not only budget only reporting, where I can look at periodic side by side, or I can look by location side by side, but then also being able to compare my budget to my actuals in things like my operations statement, my period versus budget, looking at year to date, things like that. Financial reporting. So obviously being an accounting platform, financial reporting is huge for us. We want to be able to give you those tools to see all of your data and your information in a way that makes sense. We have my reports. So my reports is just that. It's customizable. I can choose the reports out of Restaurant 365's 270 different reporting options that are here. I can choose and star my favorite reports so that I have them for quick and easy access. Pardon me. Additionally, inside of here, when we're looking at reports, I can set up different filters. So do I want to be looking at reports set up by location, individual locations themselves, whether those are all part of the same legal entity or if they're separate legal entities? Do I want to sort things by legal entities? Maybe I have a few different entities, but each of them has multiple locations that could be underneath them. Or do I want to pick some additional filters? And this is where with Restaurant 365, you can get creative and add your own filters into the system. Maybe you're working with a few different brands and concepts. You can build those in here as filters. Or I have my field leadership, and I want to be able to say these locations are who, the ones that Rich oversees, and these ones are who Megan oversees. So we can build different features and filters into the system to be able to make that reporting more customizable. And we can set any report in Restaurant 365 up on what we call a report subscription. That's where we can go in, customize different versions of the reporting, and then we can set those up to automatically email out on a scheduled cadence. Do I want them to be going out certain days, certain times, things like that. I used to be a Restaurant 365 customer before I came on to join the company. And so it was something where I would set some of these reports up to hit my inbox at, usually 5 or 6 in the morning, so that when I was getting up for the day, around 6:37, I could start coming in and looking at all of the reporting. I could do that from my email while I had a cup of coffee at my front, at my kitchen table, without having to go in, sign into the platform, and kind of, navigate through there. So really setting this up not only for yourselves, but thinking about it as operational tools for your managers as well, where you can have those reports ready and waiting for them so that they don't even have to go into the system to be able to see where they're at. Specifically, when we're getting into reporting, profit and loss. So, most popular report that's run inside of Restaurant 365 is the P&L, and we have 28 different types of P&L that are available inside of here. Additionally, because we are linking all of that data together, bringing in the information from McLean and your vendors, bringing in the information from those Taco Bell files for sales and labor, you have the ability now to drill into a P&L. So if there's something that you're not sure of, where did that information come from? I can click into it and have it show me, kind of explode out that GL account. Let me see everything that's inside of there, including the ability to go all the way down to the invoice level when we're, kind of want to be able to pull up more information. Additionally, that custom financial reporting tool that we include for our Taco Bell franchisees for being able to build corporate level submissions. So specific formats and types, especially too, if you're working with different brands, different concepts, there may be different formats that you have to have for submitting your financials. And our CFR tool, that custom financial reporting tool, has the ability for creating different versions of reports to make it easier for you not only to close out the month, but then to be able to send those reports out. I had mentioned 28 different ways out of the box to be able to view the P&L. Just wanted to be able to kind of throw that list up there for everybody. If you are not familiar with them, be more than happy to have Megan set up some time for us to actually hop on a demo and kind of walk through all of the details of the financial statement with you. Or if you have a specific version of the financial statement that you like to see, always open to having you share that with us, and we can look and make sure we can reproduce that inside of here, whether that's one of our out of the box reports or being able to build it with that custom financial reporting tool that I'm going to touch on a little bit later. Inside of here, having the ability to run things like your side-by-side financial statement, even if we're looking at, multiple locations that are one entity or separate entities. The way that Restaurant 365 stores that data is that each location is its own separate set of books, even if they all roll up to the same organization. So being able to really carve up that data, slice it and dice it so that you can put it back together in the way that you want to see those reports, whether that be something like a side-by-side or being able to go in and drill into those P&Ls. And this is where I was mentioning before, finding information that seems important that you want to now drill into. I can click on it. In this case, it's pulling up that GL account detail for me. I could go one step further and have it pull up the actual line items of the invoice. And if it's an invoice where I've either scanned it in or I've taken a picture of that invoice or uploaded it into the system, I can even pull up an image of that invoice itself. So really being able to go kind of from that multi-location financial reporting, that bird's eye view, swooping all the way down to the detailed line item invoice that's coming in. Additionally, as a former operator, the ops statement was kind of my live and breathe. This is something that we want to be able to give you and your operators access to in a faster time frame. Being able to look and see week over week how the business is performing, so that if there are questions, if there are things that we want to do to try to make the business run better and more efficiently, we can do that from the top down. And then be able to see how we're performing compared to plan for that budget that we were talking about earlier. Especially important if you're looking at this as something where your managers are potentially getting a bonus off of how they're achieving on their numbers. Now it's giving them a tool to see how they're performing in near real time, so that it's not a matter of waiting until the end of the month or a couple of weeks after the end of the month. I think I talked to one Taco Bell group specifically that was getting their P&Ls for their managers quarterly. By then, it's just so far after the fact. How can you make those changes or make any kind of an impact on the business? Instead, we want to give you that information faster so that they can make better choices now. Additionally, from the operator view, we can also flip it over and look at things like the period and year to date versus budget. So that's where those budgets are coming in so importantly. We want to be able to set up our roadmap for the year. And now throughout the course of the year, I want to see how each period is doing compared to that plan, how we're doing year to date, make sure that we're staying on track as well. Another great feature that we have inside of the platform is that we can set up P&L comparisons. This is where you can give different users access to be able to see the P&L comparison page. And what this will do is it essentially anonymizes all of the different P&Ls for your organization. So if I'm a franchisee who has 4 or 5 locations and I want my managers to be able to see how the other locations are doing, but maybe not necessarily let them see the exact details, I can give them access to this P&L comparisons page where they can sign in, be able to see all of the other P&Ls in the group, line them up side by side, but they just can't necessarily see all of the detail unless we give them that much access. So again, being able to set up some healthy competition, but also looking to see how they're doing benchmarked against their peers, making sure that they're not the outlier one way or the other. That custom financial reporting tool that I mentioned earlier, being able to have access to that in here. And that's really where you can take and configure the data that's in Restaurant 365 for those corporate level submissions, but also being able to consolidate P&L statements as well as balance sheets into singular reports, being able to customize the look of the reporting, also being able to put together packages of reports. So if I do have like an investment group or things like that, where I want to be able to have multiple reports kind of put together as one packet that I can send out via email, I can have all of those pre-built inside of here to be sent out either a la carte or on a scheduled cadence. Inside of that CFR tool, that's where we can come in and customize not only the columns that we're looking at inside of the reporting, naming conventions, how we have things lined up, where they're placed on the sheet itself, but as well, we can also update the row customization. So where do we have the different line items? Do we want to name them something different? Do we want to build in different calculations, hide rows, show rows, add in additional tallies, percentages, kind of giving you that flexibility of Restaurant 365 can do a lot with the out of the box reporting, but maybe at a specific way you want to be able to see some information. We want to be able to meet those needs for you. And I mentioned it before, you can have the profit and loss statement, but also you can include balance sheet account information in here as well. So being able to add all of that info so that you can have that for reporting. And this is where we can bring in those multiple organizations. We're looking at these for, again, similar, same or different legal entities, or just sorting things out by location. I can configure these different organizational units so that I can have different versions of the reports, and then I can run them either consolidated, individual, a combination of both of those, so that we can really run all of our different financial reports at one time without having to run a bunch of separate versions. The cool part with CFR2 is as you run those reports, the data that comes out is going to be broken up as separate little tabs so that I can run this and have it print out to Excel so that I can sort through this just like I would any other spreadsheet, but I'm not having to cobble that together, kind of run all of those separate pieces and then kind of stitch it together inside of Excel. Instead, we're taking all of that information, we're able to drop it out as one workbook for you already. Additionally, those packages, being able to configure what those different reports might look like for different groups, different investors. How do I want to put those together? And then being able to set up those different configurations. So not only is it customizable reporting, but customized packages of reporting that we can send out for you as well. And then these are now available on report subscriptions as well. It's a relatively newer benefit or a newer feature that we've rolled out within probably like the last 6 months or so, where now any of the custom reports that you're building inside of CFR, you can set up on a report. So how you can have that information coming up, showing up inside of your email as a PDF or an Excel file on that scheduled cadence. Additionally, we know that sometimes you just want to be able to take the data out of Restaurant 365, drop it into a data lake, do some kind of manipulation with it inside of a separate type of intelligence tool. While we do have our own intelligence tool here inside of Restaurant 365, we want to be able to give you the ways that you can extract data out of Restaurant 365, whether that be via an API. We have different API endpoints that are available, but also we have the OData connector. So really looking at different ways that we can pull data out of the system. And additionally, we do have that intelligence tool. So being able to build customizable reports and dashboards directly inside of Restaurant 365 without even having to take the information out into like a data lake and use something like a Tableau or a Power BI. Instead, having it all live under one roof built into Restaurant 365 for you. Managing your third-party partners. And this is something that we've been hearing about more and more from our different groups that we've been meeting with, finding out from them that there's a lot of information that's being left on the table. And we don't know, kind of where that comes from, what to do with it. Are we getting paid the right amounts? How are we handling disputes? Do we even have somebody who can handle disputes? Restaurant 365 earlier this year partnered with a program called Voosh. And what Voosh does is they automate dispute resolution. They can handle customer reviews specifically for what Restaurant 365 is using them with or partnering with them on is the dispute resolution piece, helping fight any of those error charges to get you the most funds possible returned to you. And then also the accounting reconciliation piece of it. How do we look at what we sold to these different third-party partners and make sure that we can get that information into Restaurant 365 in as much detail as possible so that we can see it on our reporting? So inside of here, being able to set up that reconciliation piece, being able to pull in not only that point of sale data that we're looking at, but all of the orders that are coming in from all of our different third-party partners for each of our locations. And I can sort this out by partner, I can sort it out by location, or if I do have multiple brands that I'm running, I can sort it out by brand or concept. So really being able to take all of that separate information from all of those different streams and bring it into one place so that we can see all of the data inside of one dashboard instead of having to jump from one system to another. And then on the reconciliation side of things, being able to pull back all of the details so that I know when I sold $1,000 to DoorDash last week, how much of that is DoorDash keeping for their commission, but also how much of that should I be seeing come out for promotions, for incentives, for delivery fees, kind of free delivery, anything that I'm doing on the marketing side. Being able to have this really break all of those costs down and then push that information into Restaurant 365 so that you can report on. Additionally, Voosh offers dispute management. Being able to have that centralized dashboard, not only for the financial reconciliation, but let me be able to look at all of my potential error charges, disputes, chargebacks, refunds, anywhere where that third party partner isn't paying me out the full amount. Let me be able not only to see that in one place, but give me an AI enhanced tool that can automate all of those disputes so that I can recover funds. Pardon me. Being able to track those things in real time. And so minimizing the amount of communication that we have to have back and forth with each of those third party partners for each one of those disputes that are happening. Additionally, we understand that third party partners take a huge chunk of revenue when you're doing business with them. The best part to me for the Voosh partnership is that it's commission free recovery. So you're paying a flat rate per location per month in order to have that tool automatically dispute and fight to get those funds recovered for you. 100% of those funds that come in are paid back out to you. So you're not losing anything in that recovery process. Whereas a lot of the other systems that are out there are keeping anywhere from 20 to 35% of whatever they recover. Instead, we're passing all of that directly back on to you. And this is just a little snapshot of what that dispute piece is looking at. Being able to manage my disputes, also, knowing that the third party partners will actually rate limit. How many disputes can you have during any given period of time? Some of them will publicly post what those dispute rate limits are. Some of them don't because they're constantly changing it. Thinking about it from the perspective of they want to capture as much funding as possible. And if they can potentially short you on a little bit of it, it's not that much, but for you, that's going to add up really fast. And so what the Voosh tool does is it looks at your disputes, it looks at that dispute rate that's happening. It also will look at your total number of transactions and then the dispute window. Each of those third party partners has a different expiration date for their disputes. So somebody like DoorDash that has a 14-day dispute window, system is looking at how many of those potential error charges or disputing orders came in during that 14-day window. It looks at the oldest ones first and the highest dollar amount to try to fight those to get you those funds recovered. As it gets closer to the end of that 14-day window, now it's going to start bringing in some of the smaller ticket amounts. So it's really looking at maximizing the recovery on your behalf. And again, there's no dispute commission. So everything that's recovered is passed back along to you. So far with Voosh, we've seen when we're comparing this back to doing actual manual tasks, something like 9 years worth of time that's been saved by somebody not having to sit and try to figure out all of these different disputes and hunt things down, as well on the reconciliation side, being able to really look at how we get all of that data in, and rather than just booking it all to a third party fee, so that when we're looking at our financials, it's kind of that black hole of costs. Instead, we want to be able to see as much information as possible. Over 105,000 disputed orders and over $1 million that's been recovered. So again, reminder that there is zero recovery commission. It's a tool that's really affordable to be able to use. And so that if you have a tool in place currently at some locations or some brands, because we do know that some brands will mandate that. Giving you the flexibility to add this on for the other locations, testing it out to see, how the Voosh tool can do compared to some of the other ones that are out in the market. Additionally, we touched on this at the Taco Bell Innovation Day, but starting the beginning of this year, we partnered with Alliance HCM for payroll, as well as HR tools. So Alliance is restaurant-specific payroll, just like Restaurant 365 is restaurant-specific accounting. And through that partnership, we're really looking at how can we set things up as easily as possible, making it simple for managing the taxes, making it easy to get reporting, including customized reports that you can request from them. They'll build out as included as part of that service. Setting up your compliance as quickly and easily as possible to make sure that you're staying, in lockstep with any changes that are happening legally, and also setting up those different payment options for your employees, whether they're somebody who has, multiple bank accounts, checking account, savings account, things like that, or some of the employees who may be underbanked and, right now are taking their check and going to a check cashing place, in order to get that paid. Now they're losing a chunk of that every time that they're going to the bank because they don't have that bank account. Instead, we can look at some other options for being able to set them up with like pay cards or things. Makes it easier for you, so you're not having to manage paper checks, but also better for them because they're not losing a chunk of that that paycheck that they're getting for those check cashing fees. Additionally, full HR suite of tools that are inside of here as well, being able to help streamline that onboarding process, looking at kind of talent acquisition. There's full employee self-service in here. So if somebody wants to add direct deposit information in or update their tax deductions, things like that, they can do that all on their own rather than forcing you to have to be the middle person for doing that. There's also enhanced employee communication and engagement by being able to have that one centralized place for everything that's happening around payroll and HR, being able to tie that all into one hub. And especially important, it's audit ready electronic document storage. Information is kept, I believe, somewhere around like 27 years, so that all of that info is in there just in case anything ever happens. You do have access to all of that in case you need it. So I wanted to open it up to see if we have any questions. I haven't had a chance to actually check in the chat yet. Be able to see what we've got going on. Let's see. Okay. Can Restaurant 365 help us track and compare performance across multiple locations? Yeah. So being able to set that up inside of here, looking at it from the perspective of, how am I managing these things? Are these locations all part of a singular legal entity? Different entities, plus the accounting tools themselves are really robust. So I've seen my favorite group that I talked to was they had a couple of restaurant locations, but then they also had real estate holdings, which is pretty common that we've seen, but they had a paving company and a nail salon as well. So really kind of all different businesses, but they were able to manage all of the accounting directly inside of Restaurant 365. It was really great for the owners then to be able to run reporting to show me just the restaurants, show me just the non-restaurants. If they wanted to run reports just on the real estate, or to see their entire portfolio all rolled up together. So being able to have those different pieces kind of all combined. Let's see. Existing customer who's interested in setting up budgeting. I would say reach out to your customer success manager. If you're not sure who they are, let me know in the chat and I can always look that up for you afterwards. But we do have the customer success team who are our internal folks who are here to help you get the most out of the software. So if there's something like budgeting that you need a little bit of help with, our team can help you kind of on the technical side of getting that set up. Additionally, whether you're doing your own accounting or if you have that outsourced, maybe you have it outsourced to someone that you're not really a super huge fan of and you want to be able to change where you have that accounting, we do have a whole network of accounting service partners who actually can not only help you get Restaurant 365 stood up, but they can also help answer some of the other pieces that you may have with some ongoing support, or maybe you're looking to move your accounting in-house and you need kind of some of that bridge time. That's where a lot of those partners can come in. Do you integrate with PFG? Yes, we do. Performance Food Group is one of our integrated vendors. So with Taco Bell, we're specifically looking at accounting, but we do have all of our other operations tools as well. So for folks who have multiple brands, we do have the ability to set you up with different tools as far as inventory, recipes, reporting, being able to integrate in with those vendors. And whether it's PFG, McLean, again, the 200 some odd integrated vendors that we have, that process means that as they're generating an invoice for you, we're able to bring that directly into Restaurant 365. We're looking at all of the line items that you've purchased and what purchasing GL account you want them all to be booked towards. So not only is it bringing in the line item detail, hey, what did I get? Where's my price just changed? Do I have contract prices in place that now these things are fluctuating? But on top of that, the ability now to report on the information and look to see, where are we at? Creating those journal entries automatically, looking at credit memos that are coming into the system as well, and where do those need to be applied to? So, kind of giving you more tools for help closing the loop around around integrating in with your vendors to be able to get all of that brought in. Oop, there we go. Let's see. Couple more questions I thought. Are all of the reports you showed today already pre-built, or would we need to create those? So a lot of the stuff that I showed today was already pre-built inside of the system. Being able to have some of those tools set up, part of the reporting that we've come to build out are the things that people are most commonly looking for in Restaurant 365, standard financial reports, but also just additional reporting. And then anything that doesn't fall inside of that out of the box reporting is where you can lean on that custom financial reporting tool. And again, this is something where your customer success manager can work with you to help you actually learn how to use that tool and build things out so that you can get those customized views that you want to be able to see built into the system, set up and saved. So then that way, once you build them in there, they're stored. You don't have to worry about going in and reconfiguring them unless you wanted to make a change to those reports. How is the system integrating with our POS point of sale and accounting systems? Are there additional steps required to sync data between these systems? So depends on the point of sale system. Restaurant 365 directly integrates in with about 135 different point of sale systems. All of the most popular players out there we have integrations with. And then when we look at brands like Taco Bell, for our partnership with Yum, we actually don't integrate directly in with the POS, but instead we're pulling back the files. So being able to get those files brought over at the end of day process. If you're utilizing Delegate, right now we would get the files from Delegate to bring over. Same thing with Sabretooth. If you are somebody who is already on Tracks, we're going to have that Tracks integration. It's being built out and validated currently. So we'll have that sometime around Q3 of this year, since we are an approved reporting partner with Yum Corporate. So being able to pull that information back. And then we're also looking at the ability in the future with Tracks to be able to pull that information back throughout the course of the day as well for that intraday reporting. But as far as being able to get that all set up, anytime someone's onboarding with Restaurant 365, we ask for some information in the front end, and then we have a whole team of folks who's going to really do the heavy lifting for getting those pieces integrated. They may have some questions. They may need to contact a person at your organization that they'll want to reach out to. But ultimately, we're trying to look at how can we set as much of this stuff up with you and for you to get you set up on the right foot. And part of that is going to be teaching you how to use all of these different integrated systems inside of Restaurant 365. Again, if you have multiple brands, being able to bring that information in, even if you have, kind of some Taco Bell locations and maybe, you have your own restaurant concept as well, that's like a full service dining, we can bring in different information from different point of sale systems all into one database of Restaurant 365, really to try to give you the most rounded way of looking at all of your data inside of one singular place instead of having to hop around to a bunch of different places, bunch of different websites or instances of QuickBooks and things like that. Think I've managed to answer pretty much all of the questions that have come up so far inside of the chat. Let me just double check and see if there's anything I'm missing over on this window. I don't think so. If anybody has any additional questions, please feel free. Go ahead and drop those in the chat. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes further. Otherwise, if you are looking to get a demo of Restaurant 365, one of us can reach out to you to be able to schedule that and set it up. If you have other brands, other concepts, you want to be able to get a copy of this recording to share with somebody else in the Taco Bell community, we'll be sending those out as well afterwards. So yeah, looking forward to any additional questions that come in. Otherwise, hope everybody has a great rest of your day. It is Thursday, so almost Friday, and look forward to getting to talk to all of you soon, either over Zoom or at one of the in-person events that Restaurant 365 will be at and supporting Taco Bell community with this year. Thanks so much.